great ad driving traffic to a broken website is like sending open house invites to the wrong addresses. It just doesn't work. Agents don't fail because ads don't work. They fail because nobody owns the path from click to conversion. The first thing we have to keep in mind is that the foundational website that we need to deploy has to have some very specific characteristics in place. It needs the fundamental things like the reliability, and then it needs the traffic driven from ads, traffic driven from your own activity and social and such like that. You need to understand that when we're putting this together, it has to have your path for growth in mind. And then we're going to need to put a fiduciary edge to it. Those are the big themes that we need to package when we're putting your website together. Web maintenance is super important because your online presence is the vast majority of your storefront right now. How many people visit you online and then never walk through the door? So if you've got this massive vetting process going on, where the first thing they look at is actual online presence before they even talk to you, you're being screened out and nobody's even seeing your office. So it doesn't matter how pretty your office is if you don't even get past the basic screening process. A professionally managed WordPress website with uptime monitoring, backups, and updates is the bare minimum that we need to put in place for you. When we're building this bare minimum, we need to keep in mind a basic format. We're going to have a simple conversion-aware 3-page website as our starter. That makes even newer agents look established and trustworthy. Of course, we have to pick the right themes, we have to be professional in our images, etc. But as we're building out your structure, you're going to be ahead of 80 to 90% of your competition, which is going to stand you apart and boost your credibility. This is a sales job, remember. Credibility is essential. One of the next foundations we need to keep in mind is the whole ad management piece. Nobody likes to talk about it, but getting noticed and getting yourself differentiated, a lot of that comes from driving the right traffic to the right message online consistently. We need to take your ads from hope they work to controlling the leads that enter your orbit. Expert Google ads setup and monthly management at about 25% of the ad spend is worth every penny, because what ends up happening is you can do it yourself and suffer the tens of thousands of dollars in lost ads and not convert at all if you don't know what you're doing. Google, just like Wall Street University, where people throw their money at the stock market hoping to get rich, is a very expensive school for the foolish. There's a lot of technical pieces involved, and you can dump a ton of money into it and lots of years of lost income, or we can just get it done for you, and then you don't have to suffer that loss. You can concentrate on what you do best. Ongoing optimization of your keywords in the process is also super important, because your keywords, your bids, you're making sure creative is focused, making sure that your ROIs are correctly balanced. That leads to showings, listings, appointments, and eventually closings. And that's the bottom line. We need to move clicks to conversions and calls into listings and showings into closings. You don't get paid until you get to the closing point. The more people we put into that system at the highest ROI, return on your investment, the better off you're going to be. And that means we need to reduce your prices and move more people into your orbit. Why this matters to your growth is that you're building a system. Ads enter your website. We catch on a chatbot because it's a much more reliable form of screening and interviewing our prospects. Our chatbot results in follow-ups because people have had a conversation with a chatbot, and silly as it may sound, that conversation breeds rapport. I talked to your chatbot. It was really cool. Of course, sort of fun. Enjoyed the conversation. I mentioned I want a home with a pool. Now all of a sudden, we're having an intelligent conversation about a closing. That follow-up pulls us into the authority over our assets, which leads us into deals. The more deals we make for the same amount of cost, the higher our return for our investment. Critical math. If the first link, the ad, or the second link, the site, are weak, you're going to be operating with a leaky bucket. If your ads are terrible, when you make that scoop and you got no bottom in your bucket because your ads aren't targeted correctly, all those leads you're trying to scoop are going to fall out. Same token for the website. If you've landed on a website that suddenly you get there and you're like, ew, I don't want to touch this. It's the same thing. That website is a leaky bucket. It's leaky leaking your leads. That's costing you money. That's costing the website owner money. We don't want that. We need a calm, cool, collected, professional website that's reliable, that collects your leads because it's conversion driven. The fourth piece of this is the fiduciary edge. You will retain ownership of both your ads account, your payment authority, and then your website. At no point in our management relationship am I going to take any of that from you. That is yours 100% going forward. Transparent reporting and weekly strategy is the standard deliverable, not black box agency behavior where suddenly you end up with massive charges in your credit card that result in nothing. That has happened to me and it's driven me around the bend. It's probably happened to you too, or it will if you go with somebody else. Most clients see improvements in efficiencies within 30 to 60 days. The AI learns who actually converts, and over time, we're going to get that more and more dialed in. Usually, the iterative process that we follow is very smooth. You're going to get more and more and more leads. They're going to be more and more qualified. And over that 30 to 60 days, you're going to start seeing a remarkable difference in the number of calls in. If you tried guessing whether your ads are working, let's make the numbers clear. Check out our fiduciary approach to pay-per-click management or book a 15-minute strategy session. We'll review with you and see where your current campaigns are leaking.